Hi, I'm Angela.
I'm Doc.
I'm the Davis part
I'm the Myers part.
of Myers Davis Life Coaching and Disability Services. We want to tell you our story today. So, I was working in hospice and home health about 15 years ago, and Doc was teaching at Harding University as a professor. I was burned out in hospice, and Doc was getting ready to retire. And he was also working as interim preacher at the church that I attend. And after his first sermon at our church, I went up to him and said, "My daddy would have loved you." Now, my dad passed away 6 months before that sermon. So that day, it struck a chord with me, and Doc and I started talking. And that struck up a friendship that started that day.
Well, yeah, on Sunday afternoons, a preacher goes and visits people in the church. And so I called her on the phone and I said, now you did promise coffee if I stopped by sometime. She said, I sure did. I said, good, I'm in your driveway. I'll be right in for a cup.
Yeah, and the other part of that story is I was taking a Sunday afternoon nap, and I jumped out of bed, I hollered at my husband and my kids, and I said, "Hey, straight in the living room, the preacher's in the driveway."
That
Yeah.
ended, that began a lot of Sunday afternoon
Yeah,
coffee shops.
Yeah, and it ended my Sunday afternoon naps. So, yeah.
But we got to talking and found out that we had a lot of things in common, things that we wanted to do. And so I'm still teaching at Harding, and one evening my phone rings. And I say, hello. And she says, hello, Doc, this is Angela. I said, what's up? She said, tell me what you know about life coaching. I said, not a thing. Why? She said, because we're going to Dallas this weekend to find out all about it. So I told my wife, I said, pack our clothes. We're going to go to Dallas this weekend with Angela to find out something about life coaching.
And what we discovered is life coaching was exactly what we wanted to start doing. What life coaching does is it meets people where they are and helps them attain their goals in life or figure out what they want to do with their life. It doesn't give them answers. It helps guide you to the answers that you already have within yourself.
Exactly.
So we thought, what does Batesville need? What does our community need? And I had done Leadership Batesville before, and I had helped get that started. And I also had taken Leadership Arkansas classes. So we decided that the youth are the leaders of our future, and we needed to do some leadership classes with the youth. So we started Youth Leadership Summits in their 4th through 6th grade, 7th through 9, and 10 through 12. We do week-long sessions with each age group.
We're actually going to start a class in Batesville and a class in Searcy, since I still live there. And at the same time, I said, Angel, look, I'm not getting any response here. If nobody shows up, I'll get in the car and I'll be there just as quick as I can to help you with your class. Well, nobody showed up, so I got in the car and came to Batesville, walked into her class.
And I had a full class in 4th through 6th grades, and he walked in the door and his eyes were big as saucers.
Oh my goodness.
And he looked terrified.
I did not know what I was going to do with all these little people.
But within a matter of 5 minutes, you could tell they stole his heart and he stole theirs. And the rest is history there, because that class and all the classes of the summits became our why and why we continue to do what we do. Well, the state of Arkansas saw what we were doing with these classes, and they called and they said, we need you doing this for students with disabilities in high schools. And we had a total misconception of what disability was. We were thinking, okay, we're teaching leadership skills and life skills. I'm not sure how we can help or what we can do. And they kept calling saying, we need you. Yes, you've got everything we need. So, jumped through the hoops, walked through the fire, and started doing this in the high schools. Did a pilot program with Southside and Cave City schools. And again, every student stole our heart.
Those pilot programs were important for us because Cave City and Southside let us see what this is all about. Angela and I didn't want to ask anyone else to do what we hadn't done, which also takes us to a point of trying to figure out when we met a friend of ours down in Little Rock, talking to Angela, and this lady said, "Well, okay, how many employees do you have?" And she said, "Oh, it's just me and Doc." And he said, "Oh, honey, you got to hire more people." So we hired teachers.
And we're in 14 different school districts now and continuing to grow. And it is called our Pre-Employment Transition Services Program. And we thought, what in the world do we do with the students once they graduate? We want to set them up for success. We don't want them staying at home playing video games and watching TV all day long and not being productive or being successful in their lives. And success for one student may be 1 hour a day, or it may be 8 hours a day working. So we have a good friend, again, in Little Rock, who is another provider, and she said, "Honey, you need to be doing waiver." And I had no idea what waiver was, and all I know is I trusted her, and I said, "Okay, we'll do waiver." Well, again, we jumped through the hoops and walked through the fire and started doing waiver. That has been 4.5 years ago, and we have just been named the largest waiver provider in the state of Arkansas. And we have some amazing people and an amazing team that we work with providing services to people with disabilities.
And it gives us the opportunity to spread throughout the state too. Our main office is here in Batesville, but we have one in Farmington, in Cabot, in Highland, and also Jonesboro. If you go to the website, you'll be able to see where those offices are. But even beyond that, it's Ticket to Work, supported employment. Other things that we started trying to equip our real concern was when they graduate, what do they do? What do they do?
Well, we help them either go to college or trade school or find work. So we wanted to provide them with the skills that they need in order to obtain jobs. So we started a skills training center. That skills training center isn't funded, but they are learning so many things. In that class, we have an occupational therapist that directs that program. And she works with the students. She helps them get their driver's license. She gives them the skills that they need based on what their interests are, what their talents are. And through that class, they've also started Happy Made Goods. And it's organic, homemade products that are skincare products, facial products, hair products. So check them out online because they just opened up their online sales.
Everything that we do is centered around how can we best serve. In fact, really the key thing we ask about anything that we start doing is how does this affect our students, because that's where it began. And so it starts with them and then goes forward as they continue to mature and to grow. And of course, the waiver program is not just for high school.
Right. I mean, it's for all ages. And we want you to know that we will, if you're a member or if you're a family, we will always advocate for you. I mean, that is something that we do every single day, not just Doc and I, but our team. We're passionate about helping you and working for you.
And we wish we could meet you. We just really would like to go all throughout the state, but that's impossible. You will find yourself maybe invited to a Myers-Davis social gathering somewhere, and if it's in your area, please come so we can meet you.
We'd love to meet you. And if you have any needs, just know that we are here. We'd love to meet you, and we'd love to hear your story.
That's right.
So what's your story?